Hello, Andre, you there?
Hey, yeah. Can you see me?
Awesome. I can't, but I don't really need to.
Okay.
um, as long as you can see my screen.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good. I can see you.
Perfect. All right, awesome. So, I'm sure you got that notice, but we are recording, just so we can. I'll upload this so you can reference it at a later time if you need to, and then we can go from there. So I did make those couple changes that you had asked for, with the memberships and then that gallery sections,
Yeah, that all looks awesome.
and then we can get into kind of the rest of the site here in a little bit here. So you are tell me your familiarity with WordPress, if any, and then kind of tell me how technical you are as a person, just so I can kind of know how to speak when I'm going over everything.
Honestly, I really not too technical about a lot of this stuff until I started a YouTube channel, and then I'm good at like when it comes down to if I need to learn something, I'll research it out, I'll figure it out. So if that's not an issue, it's just getting started.
Absolutely. And the biggest things for you are here are going to be kind of just learning the differences here between the two types of editors that you have on your site, which I'll get into,
Okay.
and kind of how your site's broken down as far as pages, posts, products, and things like, and then of course the backend dashboard here. So when you when you go to access your site, um, I'm going to jump right in. When you go to access your site, it'll be shopobtoys.com, and to log into your WordPress site, it's going to be wp-admin. That's where you'll eventually go.
Okay.
Obviously, not right now because we're sitting on a development, with dev.course but that's essentially what you'll do. It'll bring up the WordPress login screen. Actually, it'll bring up a dual authentication screen. Hold on. No, we're not going to do that for your site because you're going to have users be logging in. So you don't have to worry about that. It'll bring up your WordPress login screen though, and then from there, you'll be met with what's called your WordPress dashboard, which is what you're looking at here. Now, as far as updates that you see here, you're going to see update, please update now. You see this update tab here on the left-hand side. The hosting plan that you're on with us, do not do those updates. And the reason for that being is updates to your site, which are plugins, your, mostly plugins, also WordPress. Um, Doing those updates yourself, you might break the site. Heck, we might break it too when we're doing these updates.
Okay.
But our technicians are very well trained enough to the point where they can triage your site really quickly, and have your site back up and running before probably anybody would ever even notice. Um, Again, that's part of your hosting plan. That's part of that WordPress management that you saw in your estimate.
Is there going to be a time where I'm required to update?
Nope, nope.
Okay.
So, and if there is, we'll go in there and do it. So
Okay.
usually what happens is, like, let's say Elementor, which is one of the plugins that we're using, right? Let's say that has a security vulnerability. Of course, we are aware of these because we stay up to date with everything here. What we'll do is we'll go in and we'll triage everybody's sites and just make sure that everyone has Elementor updated so that security vulnerability has been patched. So we keep a very close eye on all of that. So it's things that you don't have to worry about.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. Is don't worry about updates. We'll take care of those for you. Then as far as your site goes, again, I was just saying previously how your site's broken down here is there's a few different, they're called post types is what it's called in WordPress. And that's either, and you can kind of see them on the left-hand side here. So you have posts, which is a post type. Typically those are used for blog posting, newsletters, news, articles, things like that. It's stuff that gets replaced over time, if you want to call it that. So, you post a newsletter of, January 20, 2020, and then next month you post February 2020. Eventually those older newsletters will, kind of fall off the page. And I'm sure you've seen paginated, pagination, which is, go to page 2. That's where those will eventually go. So that's kind of how posts are set as far as, how they're displayed on your site.
Okay.
Then you have pages, which are your permanent pages on your site. And what I mean by that are like your about page, for example. That's a page that's always going to be there. You know, of course, your content might change on that page, but as far as the page goes, it's solidified. It's always going to be there. And of course, you
Okay.
can add more, you know, take away some if you'd like, but it's not something that really gets replaced over time like posts will. And then, of course, we have your products, which is where all your products are going to be listed, and that's where you can manage all that information. Also, you know, coming on the left-hand side, you have your WooCommerce settings. This you probably won't be tuned too much with. I mean, we'll touch on coupons and things like that. And then, of course, your payments and things like that as well, which I'll get into here in a minute. But I want to first dive into posts, because this is kind of the great place to start as far as, you know, ease of use.
Okay.
All right, so the way that we have your posts right now are this Dino post, you know, your current giveaway. This is a post right now, right? So you can see it here, and you can see here how we just put a bunch of random stuff in there just so we'd have a little bit to play around with as far as, you know, when we're formatting these pages out.
Okay.
But if I added a new one, so I'll go ahead and do that. So I'm going to add a new post. Simple as typing in the title. Post. And then, of course, next up, if I hit enter, that'll bring me down into what's called the content area. All right. And here's where the fun happens. This is where you get to start formatting things, you know, typing out whatever you want to do here. So by default, and as you can see, I'm in this little area right here. By default, actually, let me take one step back. So the way that this content area is now created is what's called using blocks. This is the built-in editor that WordPress is standard with. It's called Gutenberg. And how it is compiled is a bunch of different blocks. So there's a ton of different blocks out there. There's image blocks, there's paragraph blocks, header blocks, button blocks, you name it, there's a block for it. And I'll get into those. When I initially, you know, start a new line, essentially by hitting enter, it defaults to what's called a paragraph block. But if I wanted to change that, it's as simple as clicking this little add block button here on the right-hand side. This little tab of 6 is your most used blocks throughout your site. But if you know, you're not just limited to these. If I hit this browse all button, you'll see on this left-hand side, I'm just going to scroll slowly. You can see all the different types of blocks that are available to you. There's a ton. Okay. And all you do is you just select whatever one that you want to use. So let's say if I wanted to put a quote in there, I just hit that quote. And then of course I can click in here.
Is this also where you'd be putting in an image?
Yep, absolutely. And there's my quote. So I hit enter. Again, it defaults to that block. But if I hit this plus button, I can even search. So if I just want to say, all right, here's an image, click that image. And here I can either upload a new one or select from our media library, which I'll do because I want to show you what the media library is. So the media library is essentially all the images that are living on your site.
Okay.
So right now there's 30 of them sitting there. You can add as many as you want until you reach, of course, your hosting storage limit, which is at 25 gigs. So it's going to take a while for you to get that many images in there. All right, so let's say I just wanted to use this image here. I can select that. But hey, there's a lot of white space around here. It's just the way that the image is. So I want to fix this up a little bit so I can crop it if I want to. I can select, all right, I wanted to do a 2x3. I can do that. I'm scrolling to zoom in.
Yeah, I got
let's
you.
say if I wanted just his head, I could do that and hit apply. So there's a bunch of options here. So
Okay.
each block has their own unique options. So a paragraph block is going to have different options, obviously, than an image block. And those options are placed in two different areas. So let's start with this quote one, just because it's a little bit easier to see on the page. So I can say, all right, here's a couple of my options that I have here. So let's say, I align this centered instead. You also have additional block settings on this right-hand side here as well. Just, styles, or you can get a little crazy with advanced stuff. So let's say I wanted it to be large instead of the default. I could set that. I'll add a couple here. Let's do a paragraph, simple. Again, more block settings here. And then as you can see, this block tab on this right-hand side, I can start changing the color around if I want to, or I can say, drop cap, with that big T in the front. So you have, again, a lot of options here. You can change the size, bold it, center. You can get pretty crazy. So those are your blocks. And like I said, each block has their own unique settings.
Yeah, it looks like I can spend a lot of time just exploring that.
Yeah, you can. And what you can do here too. So if you wanted to do this, wanted to play around and explore and really, see, okay, I want this page right here to be a playground that nobody ever sees. I can say, all right, so let's get out of these block settings on this right-hand side. Let's go into the actual post settings, right? I can change when I want to publish this. So if I said, all right, if I wanted to publish, today, right now, hit this publish, it would publish immediately. Or I can backdate them or even schedule them out. So if I say every Friday, I'm going to release a newsletter, or the first Friday of every month, I'm going to release a newsletter, or whatever you want to do there, you can say, okay, so on October 1st, which is a Friday, at 9 a.m. is when I want this blog post to go out. So if I hit schedule,
I can do stuff like this on YouTube, so I'm familiar with this kind of stuff.
So you can schedule all that out. And same thing with backdating it. You can even change it to be, okay, all right, I have this scheduled out. I'm not ready to publish it quite yet. I need to come back to it because I need to go out and take some pictures. I can save this as a draft as well. And you can always visit that back. So you just hit that save draft and it'll save it in your posts here. All right, and then visibility. So I'm going to backdate this actually. So I'm going to go to 1. That's fine. And we'll say private. Yes. So this post is actually live. So update that. This post is actually live. However, no one will ever see it unless they're an admin logged into your website. Update this. Yeah, so you can play around with this one as much as you want. I'll leave this here in your post here, and it'll be at the very bottom. And you can see that it's labeled as private. So you can use this kind of as, like I said, a playground to mess around with all those different types of blocks and see what they do. All right, so let's go back into this one though. So, we want to add a new block. Let's say a button. This is a button. There's a few blocks in here that I do need to tell you about that are limited as far as your settings on the right-hand side here. And the buttons are one of them. And the reason for that being is we manually set what's called a class, a style class, essentially, for all the buttons across the entire site. So that way they're all going to be uniform. So you don't have to worry about setting them, setting the colors or the background colors every time. You can actually leave this in the back end as being bland like this, and it'll show up nicely on the front end of your site. And you can always view this. So like, let's say if I want to see what this looks like before I actually go to publish, hit this preview button, say what device you want to see what it's going to look like on, and then hit preview in a new tab. And this will bring up, okay, so, there's my title, followed by, all right, there's my button. And of course, the date that this post was published on. So that's that's essentially the block editor here. There's a lot more to learn on it. I'm, a lot more playing around and tinkering that you can do there. But that's a pretty good introduction. Again, start playing around with settings, YouTube things, just search up Gutenberg block builder. And, there's tons of tutorials out there.
That's exactly what I was just going to ask you. So that's great.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. And actually, part of that is when I'm done with this training, what I'm going to do actually is on this left-hand side here, again, not here yet, but as soon as this video is completed and I upload it, we're going to include what's called the video tutorials tab over here on the left-hand side. If you click into that, there's a bunch of tutorial videos that we pay access to have them for our sites. So, so that way you can go in and learn some things by yourself if you'd like. And those are kept up to date too. So it's a service that we subscribe to for our hosting clients. So take advantage of it. There's a lot of good information in there. Yep.
Exactly.
Some of it's going to be a little bit over top of what you're going to be even touching on, like how to change your theme. You won't be doing that. But as far as some of the basic edits, like what we're doing right here, good information in there. All right. So that's the block editor. I'll leave this here for you to play around with. There is one more block that I do want to show you because it comes in very handy, and that is the column block, and it can be a little finicky as far as working with it. So I definitely want to go over at least that one with you. So let's add a block and let's add a column, because I'm sure you're going to want to do this on your site. So if I click that column, you have a bunch of options here. So all right, let's do a 70-30 split. Okay. And on this one, I'm going to want an image. I'll just select that from my media library. Put this guy. We'll grab some, I'm just going to grab some gibberish text. All right, and then we'll add the paragraph block in here. And we'll just add some gibberish text. Now, if I preview this, here's your title, and here's your image followed by your text here on the, the columns. Now, where it gets a little finicky though. So actually, I'm going to grab a couple more columns just so I can kind of highlight what I'm trying to show you here. Okay, so we have a bunch of text here, right? And this image, typically when you have two columns on your site, you want them to be, lined up, so like this image should be centered, vertically, on all of these paragraphs, to look pretty, look nicer. So you can change those settings in these blocks. So, and as you can see, so like I'm trying to click in and I'm clicking into the image block, right? But really, I'm clicking around, I'm trying to get to that column. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
So, and it can be sometimes, all right, there we go. I finally got into it, but like I said, sometimes it could be a little bit tough. There's what's called the little list view here, which is a godsend when it comes to, tools that you can use. If you click that, you can see all the blocks that make up your site or make up the page.
Okay.
And you can click into them a heck of a lot easier. So like, you're trying to get all the columns, and you say, okay, I want to align middle all of this content, you can do that. Or I want to click into this column because I want it to be 40% instead of 33.
Just makes it easier to navigate it. I gotcha.
Exactly. Makes it a lot easier to click into things and switch things around. Another thing that I didn't mention before and I need to is you can move things around. So let's say this paragraph is supposed to be first. So there's two different ways that you can kind of move this up and move it around your page editor here. You can do the drag method, which is this little six dot, icon. And I can just drag it around. So I can put it up there. I can put it above my image if I wanted to. And you can move it around.
Okay.
But sometimes this drag tool can be, again, this is another one where it can be a little finicky as far as doing that. You can move it around on this list view as well. So you want to, yeah, see, this is what I'm talking about. Sometimes it's finicky as far as where it allows you to do things. All right, no problem. So yeah, this isn't letting me do it today. All right. And then you have one last option as far as moving things around. So you have that drag one, and you also have these arrows to move them up and down.
Yeah.
Which sometimes is easier. Again, it depends on your computer, it depends on how tight things are on your computer. I'm dealing with a couple of big monitors, so I have things a little bit more spaced out. I don't know if you'll have that same luxury. So I'll leave this here, so you can play around with it. Also, you can remove things here. So remove that block, get rid of that. And we'll go ahead and update this. So I'll leave this here for you to play with.
Okay.
So let's view that real quick, just so we can see what it looks like now. Yeah. All right. So there's that. So that's the block editor, and that's posts. So nothing too crazy there. Next up is the pages. This is going to be almost identical to your posts as far as editing this. So you have your about page. You want to edit that, just hit edit. It's as simple as, there's nothing on the page yet, because I don't know if you wrote anything yet, but
Is this where I would go to like update my banner?
no, the homepage, I'll get into that.
Okay.
No, this is just pages on your site. So your about page is empty. Let's find a page that here, contact us. Yeah, this has some information on it. So let's go to the contact us page. So we'll just go to go to pages, go to contact us, and then we'll hit edit. This is that form that we're using, on your site. But let's say if you wanted to add, I don't know, your email address and phone number or something like that. So we can even do, let's say, an icon. We'll just do a list. There you go. That's what I was looking for. And then we'll put we put your list in there. So we wanted it numbered. Again, more settings with blocks. Preview this. Let's say desktop. Sure. Again, same thing with the pages as far as edits go. It's pretty self-explanatory. I think at this point now that you've got it, gotten that tutorial already. All right, so yeah, that's the pages then. If you're looking to add a page to your site, so you have your about page, for example. Let's say you wanted to put a history page in there, so you can write all about your history of your company. So let's do that. So let's add a new page. I cannot type today. Oof. There we go. Just add some random text in there. All right, so here's our history page, and we're ready to publish it. So we'll go ahead and do this. Okay, but the problem is that even though this page exists, which is right here, it doesn't live anywhere really on your site, right? So the only way to really get to it right now is going directly to the URL for that page.
Okay.
Okay, so you're most likely going to want to include this in let's say your navigation menu. So to add things to your navigation menu, it's actually really easy to do. We'll go to go back to your WordPress dashboard, and you can see appearance menus. And then we have all of our pages listed here. So let's say, view all. Let's try to find our history page. It's just, there we go, history. Check it and just add to menu. And then we just drag it around to wherever we want it to appear. So let's say we want it to be under that Obi
Okay.
Toys, under there. We'll save the menu. And now that page actually lives somewhere on your site with that history.
That's great.
I doubt that you'll be adding too many pages,
Right.
but that is, in there. All right, so let's get rid of that history page. Where'd it go? So just, find the page that you're looking for, hit the trash button. If you accidentally trash something, it's fine. It goes to this trash can here. Things stay in your trash for up to 30 days. After that, they'll be automatically deleted forever. So we'll get that out of there. And again, this goes back to the hosting plan that you're on as well. Just so you're aware, if anything does happen catastrophically to your site, you really severely screw something up when you're messing around with it, once we go live with your site, we do maintain daily backups of your website for 30 days. So, let's say you've made
Like a backup restore.
Exactly. So, and we'll restore it completely free of charge up to 6 times a year.
Okay.
So again, that's all in your hosting plan. So if you do come across anything, like, oh shoot, I really screwed up here, not a problem. Just shoot us an email. We'll restore it. We'll have it up for running for you in no time. All right. So that's your pages. Again, very similar to posts as far as that goes. But you will notice even in pages and posts. So I'm going to go ahead and edit this. Edit this design one. I mean, we need to delete this anyways, but so we'll go ahead and edit this design one. We're going to clean up all these kind of messed up pages that you're seeing there in the background before we go live. But you'll notice how this is a lot different than what you were seeing before with the block editor. So the block editor, as you saw, I mean, you can do a lot with it, but it is limiting to a degree when it comes to design. It just doesn't have that pop that sometimes that you need. Like, for example, your homepage, you really need that pop of design to bring it, user's attention in, versus an about page. It doesn't have to be that eye-catching. So we kind of bounce back and forth between the type of pages that we build with. And the reason for that being is Elementor is another block editor similar to Gutenberg, but again, like I said, more design friendly, more design heavy. We try not to build too many pages in Elementor, and the reason for that being is it's a little code heavy, and a little bit slower to load. So it's kind of like this trade-off that you have to balance. Okay, do I want this page to be fast to load, for my customers and for search engine crawlers that are crawling my website, or do I want the site to be more visually engaging, to the point where it's super eye-catching, but it might take a little bit longer to load. And you got to remember as well. Sure, we're both sitting on a desktop computer. I'm sure most people are going to be looking at your site via their phones. So building fast loading sites is very important. Okay. Especially to cater to those users. So again, that's why we try to build in Gutenberg as much as we possibly can, and I recommend you do the same. But if you're stuck and you're like, I really want this visual element to be in there, that's where you're going to revert to Elementor. So something to note as well, I'm not going to go into here quite yet. So your about page is not Elementor yet. Okay, so let's go ahead and edit that. If I hit this conversion here at the top of the page, which says edit with Elementor, it's going to convert all this page content to Elementor content. And it doesn't really, the conversion's never friendly. And the same vice versa. So if I try to convert it back from Elementor to Gutenberg, it doesn't transfer nicely at all. So you kind of have to make the decision, okay, is this page going to be Elementor or is this page going to be Gutenberg? And the Gutenberg editor is usually easier to deal with too. And I'll show you that. I'll show you why here in a second. So we'll go ahead and edit this page. And let's go ahead and launch this builder now. All these extra pages. And as you can see, it does take a little bit long to load as well. All right, so let me clear all this out of here. Okay. So much like Gutenberg, you have blocks essentially that you build your site out with. And what Elementor calls them is widgets. It's like they have a heading widget. I can drop that into here. I can click, the way that it builds your content out is it builds them it kind of nests each of your widgets inside of first a column, and then above that is a section. So you have your section, which encases everything, which is I'll hit this plus button here, and I can say, okay, what kind of structure do I want to be for my section? So let's just do a 50-50 layout. And so you can see that blue blocks right here is showing my section. And then inside of my section are columns, which is what you're seeing here. These little black buttons here. And then of course, I have all of my elements that I can pick. So I'll say, much like Gutenberg, you have a bunch of different ones here. So let's say I want to do a gallery, photo gallery. I click and drag it in. And again, much like Gutenberg, each element has their own specific settings. So if I hit this little edit gallery, or this little blue pencil will be the same on every single element that you have. If I click that, it pulls up all my gallery settings over here. And as you can see, it's a lot more complicated than Gutenberg was. I mean, there's a lot more that you can do here. So much to the point where they have to tab things out. So, but as far as figuring this stuff out, again, YouTube things, you'd be amazed at what, there's a ton of support out there for Elementor. It powers I think it's like 15 or 20% of all WordPress sites nowadays. So there's a lot of people that'll show you how to do things, if you're trying to do something specific. And if you're always caught, just, reach out to us. We'll let you know. But I'll continue going with this gallery one, just kind of show you a couple of the settings here on this specific. So I can choose whatever photos, and I can just start clicking, and you can see them adding here at the bottom. So I want all these pictures in my gallery. So there's my gallery. I'll insert it. And then of course I can say, all right, how do I want this? I can just change my settings out, do justified, or do what's called masonry. I only want 2 in each column, so it kind of formats those. So again, a lot of different things that you can do as far as the Elementor editor goes. Do you have any questions on this?
I mean, I will have to dig further into it, but yeah, I see what you're saying. There's a lot to take in.
Absolutely. And actually what I can do here, so this page is, so, okay, so when you're done, by the way, making, whatever changes that you want to make. So I'm just going to grab a couple over here. Sure, we'll see a button. All right, perfect. So when you're done making whatever changes that you want, instead of it being in the top right-hand side, your update button, it's now on the bottom left. It's got to be complete opposite, of course. So go ahead and update this, and this will update the page. Now to exit back to your WordPress dashboard, it's not as easy as just going back up to that black bar that was at the top there. You have to click this little menu and then go exit, and then click exit to dashboard.
Okay.
And this will of course take you to, your page, settings. So we don't need that page anymore. Actually, we don't need this alt member section either. So we can get rid of actually both of these. And that's another thing too. And you can do the same thing with posts here. You can check these boxes and you can do what's called bulk actions. So I can delete them both at once. Move to trash, apply. And that's good. I'm just setting this up so you have a playground for both.
That's great.
I figured you'll use them. convert that to Elementor. Update that just yet a little bit to go on. All right, perfect. All right. Okay, so yeah, you have both those playgrounds now. There you go. They're both private, so you only get them if you're logged in. Something else to note, I didn't mention this before in post, and I'm sorry about that. So I'm going to go back to this Dino poster giveaway real quick. I'll hit this edit button. You want to make sure that you address your post settings on this right-hand side here whenever you're updating a post or creating a new one. So just make sure you click this post tab, and then you have a bunch of options here. So your permalink is what's going to be what's called it's the URL extension of that page. So you can see Dino poster giveaway. You want to be careful because it's usually it's based off of what your post title is. But if you have a really long title, you don't want your URL to be obnoxiously long. So you just want to make sure you kind of pare that down if you can. You also want to make sure that you set your categories correctly. So you can say, okay, this is a giveaway or exclusive. You can select multiples. You don't have to have it be just sitting in one, or you can even add a new one. By default, it will go to uncategorized. And the reason for this being important is if you ever do start, I know you probably aren't going to be posting too much as far as this goes on your site, but if you do plan on doing that, you're going to want to add this information to your menu. So let's go to appearance menus real quick again. And you can see here how we have categories that we can add to our menu. So like, let's say if we wanted to add, giveaways.
Okay.
We can add that to our menu. You can even change some of it. So you want it to say giveaways instead of just giveaway. You can just change that there. I'll save this. Let's go back to your site real quick, the front end. And you can see that it's here now, but if I click on this, what it does is it shows me a list of all of your categories, of all those posts that belong in that category. Does that make sense so far?
Yeah, if a giveaway ended and the winner was posted there, would that live there on that page forever then? Or would it fall off or every time I add a new post or?
Yeah, so eventually I think we have yours set to 8. So once you hit 8, 8 posts, here, it will do what's called pagination.
Drop the oldest one, keep going?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you what page, yeah. Let's go to this. This is just an example. So you can see that their layout is, they have 3 going across, that's just theirs. But if I click, pagination is what, those numbers are at the bottom of each site. So again, I can keep going back in time and I can go all the way to the beginning if I really wanted to.
Okay.
So obviously, most people won't go back that far, but it's still good information and all that content that's living on your site, has SEO value to a degree. Prime example, by the way, real quick, of what I mean by those long URLs. Here's their title of this post. You can see how long this URL is.
Yeah. Okay.
It's obnoxious. So they didn't go through training with me. So yeah, just something to keep in mind there. You can pare that down. All right, so history, I'll just leave that alone. All right, so let's get out of here. All right, so that's your pages, that's your posts. It's good to, good to have you to go there. So let's get into the shopping because I know that's important here. So WooCommerce, this is where all your settings are going to be for your store. Yeah, it's your store's headquarters. You can set up we'll set up some of this stuff here for you before we go live, like your payments and things like that. But as far as like, if you ever want to do like a coupon code, for example, you can actually manage those coupons right over here.
That was something I was thinking about adding to some of the memberships is coupons in the store. Is that something that I'll be doing right there?
Absolutely. And you can even say, all right, so let's say add coupon, right? And you can really get, down to what, what you're able to do as far as, customization here. All right, so this coupon code is going to be T-Rex members. Put in your description if you want to do that. And then you can even go into usage restriction. And this is where you can kind of really dive into this. So that, all right, so here's how you're going to discount. So let's say if it's, 15% off everything in the store.
Okay.
You can even set an expiration date if you'd like, or, allow free shipping, whatever you want to do there. So that you have a bunch of settings as far as that goes. As far as the coupons, and then we can go to usage restriction and say, okay, well, they need to spend at least $30 in order to get it. It can't be used with any other coupons, so that way you're not going to get slammed by people double stacking coupons up on you.
Okay.
And then you can also even exclude sale items. So if you already have an item that's discounted by 25%, you probably don't want to add another 30% off of that already, or whatever this coupon is.
Yeah, I got you.
You can even select it's only good on, these type of products, and you could start typing those in, or it's only good on products that are in the in a specific category. You can really, really narrow down with with this. You can even say it's only allowed from specific email addresses.
How do I restrict it to only the T-Rex members?
Yep. So usage limits. Let's see here. Usage restriction. Well, as of right now, you're going to have to enter in their email addresses to here.
Okay. Okay. So as they sign up, I can just put it in there.
Yep. Not ideal, but if you're looking for automation, we're probably, we could look into that for you, but I'm guessing
I'm sure at first,
yeah,
it's only going to be slow, so it won't be a problem. But maybe as time grows,
and at that point, you can afford to pay us to fix that for you.
Right.
I'll show you another site just real quick. Some of the capabilities that we have as far as WooCommerce goes. Minus all the pop-ups on here. We did not recommend it. She wanted them. Okay. She has members, like a membership program where like a VIP program where actually it starts building up points for every single time you spend $1 or whatever. Make a purchase, you get 10 points per dollar. And then you get 500 points, you get, specific, discounts. So, you can reward those people that keep coming back to your store. And, and you can also set these points to expire after a certain amount of time, or, let them live on forever. So you can get kind of really, unique as far as, what you can offer as far as your memberships go.
I have that capability.
You do not yet. This takes actually a paid plugin in order to, it's WooCommerce memberships. It's like $200 a year, or maybe $100 a year. I can't remember exactly, but that's a paid plugin, and that needs configuration onto your site. We can eventually.
I already did pay for that. Thought I have memberships and subscriptions.
You do. I'm sorry. I think this is it's programs. I know it's something different because she had to get a bunch of stuff.
But it's something we could add if we.
Exactly. Yep. You do have memberships. That's right. All right. And those memberships are actually considered products on your site. So I'll get into that here in a second. Actually next. So these are your coupon codes. I'm not going to save this one. That's out of those coupons. WooCommerce. Let's go to here. You can also, there's a ton of reporting tools in here as far as, your orders. You can see the last month, 7 days. You can set your custom date. You can even see your subscriptions in here, things like that. This is just all under the reporting under WooCommerce. So I'm going quick because I know we're getting a little tight on time. This is where your memberships are going to be. All your memberships are going to be listed here. And you can edit those as needed. And this is also where your membership plans are living. So, you have your Jurassic plan here. And you could say, all right, Jurassic tier. You can restrict the content. So if you restrict this content, say any posts, or you can say any post in a specific category. So let's say if you had a specific Jurassic, you'd have to add this category, of course, because it's only based on what's here. But you can add a Jurassic categories. Like, I don't know if you'd want to add like do members. What's one of your categories? Hatchling is definitely one of them. Hatchling is one of your memberships, right?
Yeah.
So you can even say, okay, this is a child category of members. So like I can add this and say, okay, now it appears under here. Let me refresh this page real quick. This is going to change what. So go back to restrict content for Jurassic, add a new rule and say, okay, categories. They can see all members. And so
Okay.
you can narrow it down and say, okay, they can see
for
members,
only those
hatchling.
people be able to see it.
Exactly. Yep. And that's, immediately after they purchase their membership.
And like you said, the memberships are going to be a products themselves, so they'd be purchasing Hatchling, which would be a monthly subscription.
Correct. Yep. So that's how to do restricted content. You can do the same thing with products even.
Okay.
So you can say, okay, again, you might want to set this up for categories and say, okay, exclusive content. I don't know. It's not set up yet as far as the categories go, which we'll get into that. Because this is, again, products is going to have the same thing as posts and pages go as far as like categories, attributes and things like that. So only members can purchase, so that way people can actually still see, those products that are only available to the T-Rex subscribers or the Hatchling subscribers.
But you have to be a member to buy it.
You have to be a member to buy it. So you're at least teasing
Yeah.
them a little bit. So, okay, only members can purchase it, purchasing discounts. This goes into, you can just set the discounts here. So you won't even need a coupon code.
Oh, okay.
And then of course you have a members area. Again, this is products and things like that that are limited to just the members, and then email content as well. This is just standard stuff that gets set up by WooCommerce. It just means hey, your membership's ending. Your membership will stop on. Click here to renew your membership. These automatically get sent out.
Awesome.
I think I can double check that. Yeah, this is all part of WooCommerce and part of emails. So you can say, okay, membership ending soon. Here's all your settings as far as like, all right, enable this 3 days before their membership. Maybe you want to bump that up to 5. I don't know. And then of course, all these emails as far as that goes. And let's get into the products then. So let's leave here. All right, so just like before, if you want to add a new product, let's click that add new product. You type in the name, type in the description of that product, and then this is where you get into the product data. You also want to make sure, again, same thing as posts, you want to make sure that you set your categories correctly. I wouldn't worry too much about tags. You also want to make sure that you set your product image over here, and then any additional images that you'd like to add to that. And this goes into the you got to choose what type of product it is. So let's say if it's you have a blue dinosaur and a yellow dinosaur, that's considered a variable product because you have two different colors with that. Or if it's just a single product, which is it's just the Mattel T-Rex, So you set it your price. Let's say it's $19.99. You can set your sale price if you'd like, and you can set schedules on those. You can also set if you have SKU numbers. I don't know if I don't know how you're tracking things as far as managing that goes.
Okay.
And then of course you can set up your stock status as well. So this is just in stock. But you can also hit this checkbox to say, all right, I want to enable the stock management. So if I know I only have 5 of them, I can do that. And then you can also say, all right, well, I want to allow back orders, or don't. And then low stock threshold. This low stock will kind of just appear, just saying, hey, this
only 2 left.
There's on stock. There's only 2 left, exactly, which kind of drives people to try to purchase a little bit better. And you can also enable this to only, you can only allow a person to, let's say if it's a limited stock, only one person's allowed to, you're only allowed to buy one, so you can do that too. So that way people don't just clean you out, and that way other people don't get a chance to, buy that. You can set up all your shipping stuff here too. We can integrate, there's a bunch of shipping options that we can integrate into WooCommerce. I don't think that it was included in your estimate. I'd have to double check.
What would be different?
It would actually it would automatically set up your shipping labels and everything like that. You could use there's a bunch of them out there: ShipStation, Shipyard, Pirate Ship. I mean, there's a ton of different shipping options out there.
Do you recommend one better more than the rest?
The Pirate Ship is what a lot of people seem to enjoy so far.
Okay.
Again, though, you can set up your account with them and still run, kind of your web, your shipping stuff through them. You don't have to integrate it right away, so that way you're not dumping, a ton of money into your site without having a proof of concept. You know what I mean? Or you can integrate it right away and have us do that. It's up to you on that. Like I said, I'd have to double check. I can't remember exactly. It's been a little bit. But you can set up, some shipping information here. It's going to be and then of course linked product as well. So what this does is it allows you to say, now we don't have your site set up to display linked products, but what this does is if you'd like, again, this is all options for you, is let's say somebody buys a T-Rex, well, they might be also interested in the Brontosaurus. So you can say, all right, here's a similar product, or here's a product in that same family that, they're commonly purchased together. I'm sure you see those when you're on your e-commerce site sometimes.
With the shipping information, when I put that in, would that generate a price for the customer?
This will not. So if we integrate shipping options, then it will. What I would suggest doing, at least to start out with, to get your site up and running, is just offer free shipping site-wide regardless, and make sure that you calculate your shipping costs into your products. Does that make sense? Or charge a flat rate and just say, hey, listen, it's $5 shipping unless you hit a minimum order of $50.
Okay.
You don't have to put in all this information either. Like you can leave all this blank if you just want to, like I said, if you just figure it out, like I just said, I'm going to charge a flat rate of $5 unless they hit an minimum order of 50 and go from there.
Will people overseas be able to purchase from my site?
Yes, there's nothing stopping them.
But shipping could be outrageous though, right?
It could be. Which you can limit that, I think. Hold on, where is it? Settings.
Have viewers from all over the world.
Yep. Here, shipping. Here we go. shipping calculations. And again, you can set up all this shipping options, shipping classes. Add a shipping class. As far as limiting I'd have to double check with you on that.
Okay. I see right there it was saying just Europe
Oh,
zone.
here we go. Yeah, general. So store address and then selling location. So you can say, okay, I knew it was in here somewhere. I only want to sell to United States. And you can set that here. And shipping locations, I only ship to. Actually, you can remove who you're selling to. It's like none. And only, so somebody in the UK can buy a gift for their kid in the United States or something like that. You just change that shipping locations to ship to specific countries. So you can limit that to the United States if you'd like. And that's under, all this is under WooCommerce settings, and it's under this general tab.
Okay.
And then of course payments, which we will need to get this set up as well. I cannot remember what payment option did you end up deciding to go with?
We talked about PayPal.
PayPal. Okay. I don't have that information in front, and it's been a while since we talked about it, so I'm sorry about that. But we'll get that integrated.
Do you feel as that's my best option?
I mean, you could use PayPal. I mean, you can see how many are sitting here. I mean, you
Yeah.
can use PayPal, Stripe, Square. I don't know what your best option is going to be because I don't know. I mean, they all integrate relatively easy as far as the website goes, especially the big players like the PayPals and the Stripes and the Squares. So those aren't really that big of an issue. You have to do your shopping around on your side as far as, all right, what payment processor do I want to use and what are their costs? Because some charge a flat rate of 3%, some charge 2.5%, but a 30% processing fee on every single thing. So you really got to kind of weigh your options as far as, how much are my products. If you need help with that, I do have a person I can direct you to, Abraham at Merchant Pay Connect. Everybody that I've sent over to him so far has speak nothing but good things about him. So he specializes in finding out those payment processors for you. And I will send you his information. As far as the rest of the site goes, you do have, Elementor here, templates. Your gallery page. That's what we wanted to go over. I got one more thing here for you. So your gallery page, which uses this here on the home page, but it also mirrors it automatically on the gallery page, with that top row. So let's go ahead and edit this. So your gallery page is going to be a little bit different. So under templates here, let's click into there. Sometimes, so these are what's used, as I was telling you, I think on the phone when we discussed last, you have, those flip cards, but also like your memberships as well. Because this entire section right here is the same exact content that's on your memberships page, but you only have to edit in one place. So that way you don't have to like sit there and go, okay, what I type over there, copy paste it over to this one. It's just one place that you edit it, and it's in these templates. So I try to label these easily for you. So
Yeah.
membership information, for example, if I hit edit with Elementor here, because it'll launch the Elementor editor here. I'll wait for it to load. Come on, Nancy.
The video that's on the main screen for the YouTube,
Yes, sir.
how would I choose the video that I want to play there?
Absolutely. I'll get into that as soon as this hopefully loads.
Okay.
Of course it's not. There we go. All right. So again, these are already set up. If you do have more memberships that you're looking to add other than these four, or edit this information, again, this information is kind of already all set, but if you click into these, you can change this as needed. Just click into these, change them around. Change your pricing. Click into that little, again, hit that little paintbrush. This is a price table, the way that we set this up. So you can see you have, the content. We don't have a title because we put the title above it, an image. But we can say, all right, it's going to be $10 instead of $5. You can change this to yearly. And of course, your features. So these are all the features that are, and the text is right here. If you really wanted to, you can change these icons from checkboxes. A slice of cheese. And of course, if you want to add additional ones, you can hit this add item. I don't recommend that only because these are already formatted for you. So if you just hit this duplicate instead and then edit it, you know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
And the same thing with these, kind of like before, you can drag these up and down so you can reorder them if need be.
Okay.
And then a footer here, here's your button text. And this is where you're going to have to link to that page for that membership, so you'll be able to purchase it. So edit these as you need to on this. And like I said, it'll automatically update your memberships page, automatically update your home page. This content can be edited as well. You can edit it over here or even over here, personal preference as far as where you want to type.
Seems pretty simple.
Mm-hmm. And then if you want to add another membership, I see one, let's say you wanted 5 or whatever. There's a couple different options as far as what you can do there. So you can right click on these columns and just hit duplicate, and you can see it adds another column. It starts to get a little tight, but you can also do the same thing back. So if you want to delete it, you can delete it. So if you want to go back to 3, you can just right click, delete it, and here's your 3. If you wanted to go to 6, I'm assuming that you probably want those stacked. You could actually take this little section. You can see that blue box that I'm kind of hovering over. Right click on that section instead and hit duplicate. And that'll add a whole another 3 at the bottom.
Okay.
So you can get a little fancy with what you do there. So let's exit out of that. I won't save anything. And then let's go back to your templates, because then you also have your homepage gallery flip cards. Then I want to touch on your page gallery flip cards for your gallery. So as far as this goes, homepage gallery flip cards, you just edit that with Elementor. These aren't the easiest things to edit, but so all you do is, again, same as before, edit that. Control Z, by the way, works with Elementor. So edit with, to undo. So edit with Elementor. And of course, we can change this content around as needed. This is the content on the front. So for you, all you have is images there. So really all you're worried about is not so much the content because this is all blank. You're more worried about the background. So all you have to do is just swap out that image by clicking this image. Go to your media library, select whatever image that you want to swap it with, and then hit this insert media at the bottom. And that'll swap the image out for you. And it'll automatically position it centered and to cover this entire block. Now, as far as to edit the back end, we're going to click out of the front and we're going to just go to the back. And this is where you're going to change your content. So this is where you want to say T-Rex toy, put your little description. You have your button text, which is buy now. And of course you can link it to go purchase that off your site.
Can there be a small image with that?
Isn't that what the front is supposed to be?
Well, the front is a custom. The toy that I would be selling would be the original. So I don't want confusion that the customer might think they're buying my custom.
Gotcha.
So I'm just wondering, like, if I could add a small image of the original looking toy, that if they wanted to make their own custom at home.
You can set it as the background. I think this is what it was. Let's just do this for you anyways. Cover. It's going to do that though.
So it would take up the whole screen, not just a little small.
Yeah, it would take up the whole. Which you could do something like this if you wanted.
With like the image from the shop.
Yeah, if you'd like.
All right, well, it's at least it's an option. But if someone clicked the buy now, it would take them to whatever
Correct.
link I had set up.
Whatever link you had set up. Exactly.
Okay.
Which at that point, I don't think that
they would see that it'd be that particular product.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you want me to remove that or keep that in there then?
You can just leave it alone. I can mess with it.
I want to make sure that they're all the same for you.
Okay.
All right, copy that. And we'll update that. So yeah, you can edit these then as needed.
Okay.
All right, and then the same thing goes for your gallery page then. So just something to note though with the gallery page. So I'm going to go in and edit this. Where is it? Gallery, Elementor. I can go right into the Elementor editor here. So this first row, you cannot touch on this page because it's that template instead. Does that make sense?
Say this again.
So this this first row here, or I'm sorry, this first row here on the gallery page. So when you're editing on the gallery page, you cannot touch this top row here because it's locked by that template because you're using that on your gallery page and your home page. So you have to edit it via your gallery. Now, as far as your the rest of the page goes, absolutely, you can add as many as you want here. Again, I'm just keeping that so all your formatting is the same. So you can start adding as many as you want here. In order to do so, what you want to do is, you add another row. So just right click on that section and just hit duplicate, and it'll keep adding rows. So I'll hit right click, duplicate, it'll add another row. And then you just change your settings in here as you need. Are you following?
Yes.
Perfect. I can actually just leave it like that here for you. I'm sure you'll be editing this. Edit it. All right, so that's kind of the only unique page on your site is that gallery page. Oh, and then your home page. So let's touch on that. The front page, as you can see, it's Elementor. So we're going to add an edit with Elementor there. So as far as changing this YouTube video goes, this is a video element. So you just click that little pencil, swap out the YouTube link.
Perfect. Okay.
That's it.
That's simple.
And again, you can't edit this information because this is locked by that template. You can see it's a template element is what it is. So it's not going to let you edit this. I mean, you can click in
I can
here.
change the image, right?
You can, but you have to go to that elements first. You can't do it from your home page.
Gotcha.
You have to do it from the template page. Same thing with this become a member section here. So I can click into here and you can see, actually, I think you can launch edit with, you can edit that template directly from that. You can launch that template editor directly from your home page.
But I have to do it from this then.
Exactly. It's got to be done through here. Yep.
Okay.
That's a new feature. They must have just added that. Yeah, that's it as far as your site goes. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, one question. Back to the shop. We talked about that I wanted to add categories of different products of different lines.
Yep. So you go to products and then you go to categories here. And then you can add as many as you'd like here. So you can say, okay, this is going to be Mattel. Gosh, if I could spell it. And say, okay, add category. Now I can add a subcategory to that even. So I can say dinosaurs and have this be a subcategory of Mattel. So now I can view any, and again, you can set multiple categories for a single product. So you can say the product belongs in dinosaurs and Mattel, and they're featured.
I can have an image there for the category itself down there at the thumbnail.
Correct. It doesn't show anywhere on the site though, so don't worry about it.
It won't?
Nope. As far as the category goes, no.
Where would the category show up at?
It'll show up as far as your shop goes.
Yeah.
So let's go to your shop. It's Jurassic tier. The categories will be listed on this page. It'll just be text though. You can see that here. This is where the categories are listed. It lists them out, and then they'll also be listed out here at the bottom of the page, which we need to add still.
So categories across the top, like right there where it says home and shop, there categories will be across there.
Well, not right now because you're not within a category at all. You can also set up, so like here, let's go to your menus real quick. So let's go to menus. All right, let's go to product categories. And we can say, okay, I want to include, let's view all of them. I want to include Mattel and dinosaurs. Actually, let's get rid of that giveaways. And you can nest them inside. So like you can do this. This will be part of your navigation menu.
Yes, that's what I want.
Yep. And save that. Again, I'm sure you'll be changing this.
Can there be images tied to those?
No. So this is just going to be in your menu. So let's go back to your site. So I hover over shop. I have Mattel. I have dinosaurs.
Okay, I like that. Now,
something to note here. You cannot go any further than this as far as nesting goes, or it's not going to show up. So the most that you can go is 3 levels down. And then outside of that, it will not show up in your navigation menu here anymore.
3 levels down.
Yeah, so you couldn't go shop Mattel, dinosaurs, T-Rexes, brontosaurus, whatever the case may be.
What about beyond Mattel, straight down?
Oh, yeah, you can add as many. So like here, let's say let's go to product categories. Here, featured. So let's add that. Let's drag it. So I still want this to be under shop, but I want it to be above Mattel, let's say. You can do that. Same thing with your memberships. You can you can have your membership category be memberships, and then break it down by each. Well, at that point, you really wouldn't.
So when you're on the shop page itself, if you're not in a specific category, what all would be showing on that shop page?
Everything, all the products of your site.
Any kind of organization to it, or is it just as I upload them, that's the order they'll be up, or
As you upload them, that's the order that they'll be in. Yeah, we can change that around, and you can do sorting here too. It's like people can sort by, price low to high.
okay?
So there they are, low to high.
So it's just gonna be pretty much random.
I'll talk to our developers and see if they can get this set up so that way there's a little bit of navigation here. I'll see how much time. I need to talk to Jennifer too to see how much time we have left in your project. I think that there should be enough for that. It's not too difficult to configure, but like I said, I have to double check with her. Do you have any additional questions?
If I wanted to change the banner in the future,
In the background here?
yeah.
That's part of your templates again. So templates. Instead of that just being those two, you have to go to all the published ones. And then you'll see your header here. All these templates that you're seeing are what templates your entire site. So you have to be kind of really careful with what edits you're making there.
Screw that up.
Yeah. So you got to be really careful with what you're doing there, because changing a header template, it's going to change it across your entire site. So I would almost suggest, if you're not comfortable with it, send those updates over to us.
Okay.
We do small.
I'm happy with the way it is right now. I'm just curious if options for the future, if something better came up.
Yeah, if you hit this edit section here, style, and then your background image, and you just swap that out with your media library, upload a new one.
When people sign up for giveaways and enter the email, where would I see that information? Like, would I have a list of emails?
This, I'm pretty sure, yes, this will be set up. I think that we have this via your forms, which I'll show you real quick as well. So any forms that are on your site are listed right here. You will get email notifications, of course, as well. But that's your MailChimp newsletter sign up, which is what that sign up button was. But you can also view, like, let's say if I wanted to view all of my contact forms, the entries, I can view all those entries by just simply clicking here. There's none in there, but that's where they'll be. And you can also import and export them. So let's say you decide to, have a CMS or some kind of, tracking system or whatever the case may be. You can actually export your entries. So you can select the form. So let's say, all right, I want to do MailChimp newsletter, and I only want to export their emails because that's all I care about. But you can see how much you can export out of here. Let's go to the contact us form instead. All right, I just want their first and last name and their email. And you can download that export file.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, one last question, marketing. Will the site have its SEO, and will it show up at Google for searches and stuff like that? Or is that something?
It'll take time as far as SEO goes. Like I said, I think your biggest thing is going to be affiliate marketing to start out with. Especially because you're doing all these things, you're on YouTube, you have the traffic there already. I would continue on with the YouTube SEO. Sounds like you're doing a good job there already. As far as organic SEO goes, you just want to make sure that you're using what's called keywords throughout your content. So if you're adding a new product, make sure you add dinosaur toy, even in the description, this would make a perfect dinosaur toy for a 3-year-old, because you got to think about, all right, what are people searching for, when they're trying to find a dinosaur toy? Are they searching for dinosaur toys for 5-year-olds? so adding those keywords in there, occasionally throughout your website will definitely help. You just got to
But
kind
just
of
someone typing in OB toys, would that
absolutely
bring?
eventually.
Okay.
It'll take a little bit of time. So,
all right, cool.
Yep.
Well, there's a lot for me to go through and study and learn.
Oh yeah.
But
All right.
you definitely got me set up in the right direction, and trust me, I'll go back and rewatch this many times.
Perfect. Awesome.
Where would I find this particular video then?
I'm going to send you, it's going to be on YouTube.
Awesome.
And then I'll also, like I said, there will be a video tutorials here on the left-hand side in your WordPress dashboard, and it'll be right in there. It'll just be a link right to that YouTube video and that video tutorials tab, along with a bunch of other tutorials that are in there.
And as I build questions and stuff like that, you said I could always do another like hour-long session or something in the future.
Absolutely. Yeah, we went over quite a bit our time today. So
yeah, I hear you.
All right.
All right, sounds good, man. Thank you.
Absolutely. I'll have that video to you. It'll probably be tomorrow, Monday at the latest.
No rush.
Like I said, I'll aim to get it to you tomorrow, but like I said, it might be Monday at the latest. To be frank with you, I'm backed up right now. It's like crazy. So not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's a good problem.
Yep. All right. You have a good one.
All right, take care, man. Thanks.
Take care. Yep. Take care. Bye.
Bye.